Recently, the occurrence of a spring festival in the city where I live, Danville, Virginia, caused me to walk in the local mall. The festival is always held in the park where I walk, so I chose the mall, not because of any feelings of anti-sociability in a festival crowd, but because I was afraid there would be no empty park bench for me to take my mid-walk break. Over the past several years, the mall had walled up the old closed storefronts and covered them over with space-filling, blown-up black and white photographs of the city back in the 20s, 40s, 50s, 60s, and even the 70s. It had been about a year since I had been to the mall, so needless to say, upon entering, I saw many more vintage pictures than before. On the day before the festival, I was already halfway through my walk, with no place to sit and rest, as those benches had been moved to the front of the park for the festival seating. Sitting, I remembered WSOC TV's Brooks Lindsay, who, besides portraying Joey the Clown, also hosted a local children's show, Man in the Forest, telling stories and announcing cartoons while sitting on a forest tree stump. As I rested on a bench next to the escalator, I made the observation that the mechanical sounds of the escalator, though minimal, were still enough to drown out any multiplied sounds of human talking and walking in the mall's corridors. In other words, as far as the multiplication of sound is concerned, there weren't enough people to produce an appreciable product. At the end of my mall walk, and before going back outside, I rested at a bench facing a long glass storefront. The store's interior filled with deep, empty shadows. I guess the store had recently closed, and there hadn't yet been time to get it walled up and pictured over. Some years before, and sitting on that same bench, I had seen the store's interior with its employees, customers, and shopping wares all lit up. Now there were no lights, no employees, no customers, and nothing to buy. On that early afternoon, there was only a ceiling light illuminating the bench and me. It combined with the opaque interior darkness of that store across the way to form only a shadowy reflection on the storefront's glass. That reflection was of an old man sitting on a bench. But looking deeper into that reflection, I saw far behind me the reflected distant green arboreal horizon and the reflected blue sky, unchanged by downturns or upturns in commerce. Shadowy green, but nonetheless green. Shadowy blue, but nonetheless blue.